Oh, hello. Hello, Trinity Navy. I did not think you'd be reading through this. Is this just you doing homework for Golden Fantasia? Partly. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, and I saw a couple Twitter folks posting about it. Twitter mutuals, I guess. Posting about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time to try this finally. And it is a good way to get good at fighting games, right? Good morning, Mango. How are you? Subarctic, I see you there as well. All right. Me when they cry. Umineko. So where we last left off, the family got into a bit of a spat over the inheritance, with an implication, a pretty deep implication that Kraus is embezzling money. Here, let me do this, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't load. I'm Pepega. Hold on. This is the start of the game. Oh, you're like early in? Yeah. Yeah, I'm only on episode 1. This is session number 4. Each one's about 3 hours, so I'm about 9 hours in. All right, so we're on the beach. So, just a bit of a recap of what happened last time. The family was arguing. The 4 children were arguing. These 3 were kind of teaming up on Kraus. Kraus is currently living with Kinzo. Kinzo, obviously, on death's door. And they basically said, hey, your businesses are failing, but you keep trying new ones. Where are you getting all the money? Oh, you must be embezzling Dad's funds. And he goes, of course I would never embezzle Dad's funds. That would be illegal. This is highly illegal, you know. And they're like, oh, so if you're not doing that, very sarcastically, then you must have just come across some random fortune. Maybe you found Dad's, 220 billion yen worth of gold. And if you found that, maybe you should just split that up with us and pay us each 250 million yen. Which seems kind of fair considering, you'll be getting the rest of that, the 12.5 billion that's left over of that 20 billion. Whatever, whatever makes the math work out. Essentially saying, hey, if you just pay us off, we won't look into all this clear embezzlement that you're doing into Father's funds, and you can let us be on our way. But he's like, oh-ho, you'd like that, wouldn't you? I know that you all desperately need money for one reason or another right now, particularly Ava, because her husband's restaurant business is going under a hostile takeover, and Rudolph is losing a bunch of lawsuits overseas that the settlement is really, really high. And so they're both in trouble and in need of money now. I don't remember if they said why Rosa needed money. I don't think she outright needed money. I think she was just trying to be swayed by the other 2. But I could be wrong about that. I could be misremembering. I've only gotten episode 3 before I dropped this VN. I just kind of couldn't take one of the characters for trigger warning reasons. Oh, Monka? Okay, I might have to look out for that. They said she co-signed on some stuff. That's right. They didn't give a specific reason, but she is co-signed onto, I would say, presumably her MIA husband / daughter's father's investments or something, and is at risk there and needs to maybe cover for co-signing that. And so he said, well, you need it now, that'd be great, but I'd like to amend this agreement. I don't think I can get you that kind of money now because after all, as you said, my businesses are failing. So they're talking about that, and then the kids, it seems like, are all looking to hunt down Beatrice's gold. They're talking about the riddle on the portrait, and Kinzo also said in a form of exposition to his butler that riddle, or this butler, excuse me, that riddle is meant to make the magic happen. We don't know if he's delusional. We don't know if that's true, and we'll see where that goes. So on the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you reach the Golden Land. You really are diligent, Maria. You did a good job writing it all down. I forget a lot, so I always write things down. Important. Mama told me too. There was a notebook inside the handbag she was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down the beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. Yeah, I think there's a lot to do with this riddle. It really tickled my sense of adventure. I love when, like, stories and books have to do around, like, a riddle that kind of comes together. Even if it's, like, unsolvable when presented. Almost better if it's unsolvable when presented, and then things open up and you keep, like, hearkening back to it. Let's start with the first line. Behold the sweet fish river, running through my beloved hometown. Right, so I think all these have to do with the characters' names. Sweet Fish River. Where was grandfather's hometown again? I heard that before the war, the Ushiromiya family had a mansion near Odawara. Which makes you want to know what Sweet Fish River runs through Odawara, of course, right? Yeah, because that river would be where we start. Definitely not a metaphor. Anyone searching for the Golden Land would head down that and search for the key. What's this river in Odawara? Does it have sweet fish swimming in it? If you're looking for sweet fish in Odawara, it'd have to be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountain stream fishing. Ooh, I hate fish. Maria, you'll understand this when you get a bit older. Oh, have you heard that? Is that a thing that's true where, like, when you're young, bad tastes are a lot more pronounced because, like, your body doesn't know it's not poisonous yet? And, like, as you've tried, like, things like acquired tastes actually develop because it's your body not, like, putting up a defense mechanism. Like, if you eat a mushroom for the first time, you're probably like, this thing could kill me as a kid. And so it tastes really, really bad. And then you eventually learn that, oh, these things don't kill me. And that acquired taste kind of develops. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's an interesting, I guess, way that it, like, works. In that it's, like, all kind of survival based. And things like peppers, mustard, mushrooms, onions, things like that. Really strong tastes. Dull as you get older and you learn to like them more. Alcohol, I guess, is another one. Alcohol will literally kill you if you're a child, though, I guess. Salty roasted sweet fish. Yummy. Yummy. Even though we just ate, I'm getting hungry again. Oh, he's literally me. Shall I bring you a biscuit? Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. No, don't mind. Don't mind. Popeye's biscuit. Shannon was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that, since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on conversation with people closer to her age. Thank God I learned that alcohol is actually good for me. Good for you, maybe. Alcohol is not good for me. When asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally, the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine that might be pretty dull. Okay. So I get that the sweetfish-filled river near Odawara is Hayakawa. In that case, we've got to go down it. Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River? It's an acquired taste. You probably just haven't had enough yet. Oh, maybe. Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River? If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive at the ocean. Of course, you'd reach the mouth of the river. And the third line of the epitaph was, as you travel down it, you will see a village. By the way, since long ago, the mouths of rivers have been key points in transportation, and large cities tend to be built there. That'd be the next checkpoint. That's a pretty good theory. Just like you guessed, there's an old city there that was very prosperous in ancient times. That's where Odawara Castle is. Ah, I think I may have gone to Odawara Castle on a field trip once. It really was a wonderful castle. Yeah, I also went there. Even though I live in a Western-style house, it's true that Japanese people feel calmer with a Japanese layout. Oh, castles are boring. Castles are boring. Theme parks are better. Theme parks are sick. I see. Okay. If we find the gold, the Great Battler Sama will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play in it. Still. Odawara Castle, huh? The hidden gold of Odawara Castle. Oh. It's actually starting to sound pretty good. Well, we figured out that much 2 years ago. I don't even think that's true. I think that's bait. The village down the river where the sweetfish swim in Odawara, we figured it was probably somewhere near Odawara Castle. The problem is the next line. Okay, let's see where Battler's strange reasoning can take him with this one. Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it were this simple. Damn it. We'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself. The fourth line. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. I don't know what it means by the two, but anyways, the shore. What does it mean by the shore? No, wait. Is there any place near... Wait, hold on. Guys, they say everything happens for a reason. So I was chatting, you know, as one does. And I was talking about my side deck for a Grand Archive deck that I'm working on. And I said I might want to put this card in the deck to really shore up the matchup. But I typed it S-U-R-E, like shore up, right? Like that's what I thought the expression was. Hold on, let me cosplay as freaking oh my god, sorry, flashbang. let me cosplay as Pirate Software here for a second. Are we better at fighting games yet? Every day we get a little bit better. So I typed it helps, wait, I typed it helps shore up the matchup, right? Like shore up, that's the expression, right? And they were like, no, Rysair, it's not shore up, it's shore up. And I'm like, why the hell would it be called shore up? I've definitely heard it that way, right? But I'm like, shore is where the ocean meets, you know, the land, right? Well, sure enough, shore has another meaning. It can be a prop or beam set obliquely against something I literally looked this up like 15 minutes ago. This conversation happened right before I started streaming. So, a prop or beam, a galvanized steel beam even, set obliquely against something weak or unstable as a support. So if you're looking for the shore, it can actually mean a galvanized steel beam. So Kinzo was really ahead of his time when he started writing these riddles, because he's doing Lil Jon memes like 50 years prior to them actually coming out. Which I think is kind of nuts. Anyways, that might actually be what this is referring to in another sense. This might actually be like, look for the shore the two will tell you of. So the shore here might not be water meets land. It might actually be like a wooden beam or something that you have to move to get to the treasure. Is there any place near there with shore or Kishi in its name? Okay, so we're looking right for this symbol, this little crown, this Neptune-looking crown kanji. So Kinzo saved money when acquiring his fortune by living in a... And he took all of that gold and put it in a castle to save for his family. Not quite. Close. Like, close. Some of these look close to that shore kanji. Ah, naruhodo. I've heard there's a place called Sogakishi in Odawara.
What?
Or the two tell you about. Could it be... could it be, like... Like, Nikishi? Or like Tatsukishi? You sure know a lot about it. What could that mean? Are you trying to solve the riddle and get the gold too? That makes us rivals. It's not like I'm tsundere for the gold. It's not like I'm interested in gold. It's just that George told me about it before. That's because we reached the same conclusion 2 years ago. We even went to the trouble of laying out a map and looking it up. It's about 5 kilometers to the north of Odawara. We definitely found a place called Sogakishi there. However, after that, we got stuck. The 5th line doesn't say where the key is hidden in that place. Maria, could you read it for us? There sleeps the key to the golden land. There sleeps the key to the golden land. Sogakishi is probably large, and there wasn't ever a house built there by the Ushirimiya family. Not much we can do to find a key in such a vast area without any hints. And without the key, we can't advance to the next line. George, what kind of place is Sogakishi? Let's see. I've never been there, so I don't really know. But according to the map, it's in the mountains. I'm pretty sure it was at the base of Mount Asuma. Something doesn't feel right. You'd expect a riddle pointing the way to a hidden gold be a bit more exact. I get the feeling that even the part about Sogakishi was a mistake. The key sleeps on its childhood eagle and gets cramps. So it's... There sleeps... So could it be if we're talking about this shore theory, could it be that it's a like bedpost, or it's like a because it's there sleeps the key to the golden land. So could it be like a loose board on a bed? Well, I think it could be Sogakishi. Could even be talking about some kind of house that grandfather lived in when he was a kid that we don't know about. After all, the first line mentions his beloved hometown. Shannon, you've served grandfather alcohol and stuff lots of times, right? Has he ever talked to you about his past? The master almost never speaks of the past. However, he talks of the Great Kanto earthquake as though it was someone else's story. So he may have been living far away from the Kanto area. The Ushirimiya family may have been living in Odawara, but not all of the branch families were. Grandfather often called himself part of a branch family. Hey Laith, how you doing? At least connected to the successor. And that means the beloved hometown might not even be in Odawara at all. Hello. Hi. I've never heard anything about grandfather's hometown, and I doubt he'd actually tell me if I asked. If the so-called beloved hometown isn't referring to the Ushirimiya family roots, then the Odawara theory is wrong from the beginning. Of course, this doesn't completely remove the possibility that it was Sogakishi. For example, perhaps he lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away later. Oh. I don't understand what y'all are talking about. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom. So, basically... he's a basically guy. If we can't even agree with the starting point for this dice game of gold, we're totally stuck. But wait, after the first 5 lines, the thing we end up finding is a key, right? Even if you don't have a key, it's always possible to bust through a door. Can't we just skip the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyways. Battler, I love mansplaining Shiromiya. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyway. Let's hear the rest of Battler's reasoning. But the next part, it gets dark really fast. Shannon frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. So I think when they're talking about sacrifices here, I think they're talking about chess pieces. Oh, ad break. Okay, we'll take the ad break real quick. How's everyone doing otherwise? It is raining super hard where I'm at. I'm in Florida, so it's raining really, really hard. I definitely almost broke my car trying to drive home today. It was up to my probably knees in water from where I sat in my car. I have a pretty low car, and I had to like get up on the sidewalk and actually avoid being underwater. And I finally found a way to get to the highway and get home, but like that was quite scary. My boss is in Florida right now getting delayed left and right at the airport. Oh yeah, the airport was shot. Yeah, I made it home safe though. I was careful. I did not let my like hood go underwater or anything. It was I think my headlights were underwater. It was really scary for like a minute there. And I was just trying to drive, like I work in it's like I don't even know what to call it. It's like a shopping center, but it's a little bigger than that. And there's like parking garages and stuff. And so like everywhere there's like depressed and kind of concave roads. Because they all kind of like I guess bow around a like central like shopping center feature. Are Ryers aquatic foxos? I can swim. My car can't, but I can swim. Okay, let me just check something really quick, and now the ad break is over. Welcome back. Let me just check something real quick, make sure it's something important. Are you sure your car can't? I guess not. I guess I can't be sure. Okay, it sure does get horrible quickly. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the 2 who are close. Like, this might be chess moves, right? Sacrifice 6 pieces. Wait, the king in chess kind of looks like a key, right? Like, it's got, like, that little crown. Actually, the king in chess has this on its head. The kanji that's in Maria's name. On its head. I don't know if that's relevant at all. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the 2 who are close. Does that mean to make them break off their loving relationship? Or does it mean to literally tear them apart? I don't know, but either way, it's pretty disgusting. This might also just be talking about, like, sacrificing people. And, like, to get this gold, because it's from a witch, you have to, like, take lives. Even if we set the second line aside, it mentions 6 people for... It does not mention 6 people, George. It just says, offer the 6 chosen as sacrifices. Those could be animals. Those could be foodstuffs. They could say sacrifice your 6 finest cakes, you know? Then 5 people for the 4th through 8th twilight. So at least 11 people must be sacrificed. 11 people must be sacrificed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? This would be 12 if this slot were filled in. If 11 are to be sacrificed, is this a battle royale of the family? Such that one family member sacrifices the other 11 over time to get the gold? Oh, their sacrifices to revive Beatrice. I see. Sacrifices to restore the witch. Yeah, that's what it'd mean. Oh, speaking of Naruhodo, amazing news. Naruhato L has been released to the public. It is in the public domain. Big news. I don't have to use my scuffed Nerul Heart R. Yeah, it finally is right. Near the end, the witch will be revived on the 9th twilight. That last part is guaranteed. Cat, huh? Oh, yeah. Smoke cigarette? You wouldn't get it. It's Uni Illuminati Discord memes. There, yeah. BBH is Uni Illuminati Discord, right? I've heard that one before. Classic. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So everyone will die in the end. After that, the 10th twilight is the goal line. Not sure how you're supposed to reach the Golden Land if everyone's dead by then. Depending how you interpret it, the traveler who holds the key may or may not be included in the none shall be left alive part. But at the end, there's something pretty interesting. After reaching the goal, the witch gives out 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold. The problem is the next one. It says the dead souls will be resurrected, right? Doesn't that sound like it means everyone who died in the earlier lines? If you put it like that, then the part about reviving lost love might refer to the pair torn apart in the 2nd twilight. That's right. And the 4th one refers to the 9th twilight. The 4th treasure is putting the witch, revived on the 9th twilight, to sleep. If we put a happy spin on all this, I'll be hectic with people dying. It'll be hectic with people dying and breaking up all over the place, but it'll all be made right in the end. The awakened witch will sleep again, and everything will be like it was at the start, except with a huge pile of gold. The witch must be pretty busy, what with all that killing, reviving, breaking up, and reuniting people. Not to mention waking up and sleeping. Yeah, that's the hardest thing. I can't do that. That's hard. Sheesh. Just when the tale of the hidden gold was getting interesting, it all gets pretty dubious once the witch starts showing up. Yeah, waking up sucks. Too true, ha ha ha. I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry again. The witch is incredible. She can do anything with magic. Even kill. Even bring back to life. Even give love and take it. She can fly in the sky, can become invisible. She can even make gold and bread out of nothing. This is the Danny Phantom theme song. Ugh. Dang it. My bad. We were just joking again. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria did not accept that. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and opened to some other pages, trying to prove that the witch existed. Uh-oh. Also, I think some of this Kinzo riddle might have to do less with actual actions and might correlate to the actions that his family needs to be willing to take to inherit his fortune, right? Like, you have to be ruthless enough to sacrifice everyone else. You have to be ruthless enough to tear apart relationships. You have to be willing to trust that this will work out, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Oh, thank you for the blanket. Maria sounds like new from Elfenlied. Wow, I haven't heard Elfenlied in like a freaking forever. Oh my gosh, I'm already so tired. Elfenlied was the first anime that I ever watched that wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, that was definitely like an intro to a lot of, like, in high school for me, with a lot of friends of that time. And well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked-nosed hag flying around on a broom. It was kind of cursed, yeah. But dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It was just what you would expect from an imaginative young girl. spitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. She's just drawing Mary Poppins. Wait, is Mary Poppins a witch? She definitely is, right? Like Mary Poppins is definitely a witch. She's a good witch, maybe. But like I think that all checks out. She can fly. She's got magical items. Like, yeah, I think she kind of qualifies. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produce sweets would bud by the roadside. Is Willy Wonka a witch? No, because he does everything through science and capitalism. But there's he uses magical items, but I don't think he is a wizard. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the least remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish this epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Based capitalism versus cringe magic. Sigma Wonka edits. Because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream. To Maria, the epitaph isn't a guide to the hidden gold, but it's magic used to revive the witch. So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be so easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon timidly opened her mouth. Maria, did you know there's a ghost story about Beatrice that has been passed down among the servants? Oh. Oh, yeah. That's right. Shannon, tell us. I don't really know, but it's apparently pretty famous among the servants. A ghost story? What? Yeah. Seems like it's a story from before we were born. I also heard about it from my mother. Okay. It has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction. The servants of that time whispered that the mansion had two masters, one of the day and one of the night. Oh, awful. They're bringing in the day-night cycle to this game. Cringe werewolf player. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, the ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants. Also, I would think if the Ushiromiya gold is hidden, I would think it would be hidden on this island, not in his hometown off this island, right? Like, it has to do with the witch, and it's like partly her gold and part of it is reviving her. So you would think it would be on this island. When people do the rounds a second time to check doors, windows, and locks that were supposedly closed, they'd find that some of them were left open. Lights that were supposed to be off were turned on, and lights that were supposed to be on were turned out. Things left lying around would disappear, and things would appear when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion, invisibly, and was playing pranks. Ah, see? She does exist. Beatrice exists. Yeah, she exists. Long ago, it was always right before leaving for school that I wasn't able to find my bag and stuff. Maria puffed out her chest with an "ugh," as though this was the final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again. Though I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people, after all. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie. In addition, some servants have also seen will-o-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. Kanan-kun said he saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. And recently, you often hear servants talking about the strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight. We've whispered together that Beatrice in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. It happened a while ago, but even I've heard the footsteps while patrolling at night, and they resemble the stories. Ooh, that's scary. Oh, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice-sama is another ruler of the mansion, and separate from the master. So, there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, she won't do anything bad. She's just as scared of you as you are of her. However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right? Correct. I've heard that, just before I began working here, someone who spoke badly about Beatrice fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back. Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice's anger had been brought down upon that person. Ooh. Anger will definitely be brought down on Battler and Jessica. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm sorry. Whoa, I don't want her anger brought down upon me. I apologize, Maria. Of course. I also apologize to the witch. I'm sorry, Beatrice. Please forgive an outsider's nonsense. I'll apologize as well. I'm sorry, Beatrice. Will the witch be able to forgive us now? Don't know. Witches are fickle, so they'll forgive when they want to, and don't when they don't. That's not good. Maria, isn't there some kind of good luck charm that could prevent Battler and Jessica from suffering Beatrice's wrath? Maybe something that can block against magic? A spell shield, perhaps? By relying on Maria, who was proud knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Where'd she get that? Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently, Grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped... Oh, whoa! Zuzu, thank you for the resub. 47 months. Whoa! One more until 4 years of support on the tournament staff. Much appreciated, much appreciated. I'm gonna have to make a 4-year badge. I think that's a 3.5-year badge that you've got right now. Yeah, I gotta make a 4-year badge for next month. I don't know what I'll make it. We gotta make Rysair VT Woe as well. She then begins fishing through that bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria. Bean badge? It's just going to be a different color of that, and I got to put a different title on it. Although they were probably important magical items to Maria and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong, it was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. What the hell is that? It's Dore... Oh, it's the... IAE, the ether letter. Okay. Doraemon. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had just worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. Ew. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Ooh. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game in an arcade? It really looked like something like that. There were 2 of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were 2 of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items. Oh, you're giving them to me and Battler? Yeah. With these charms, you don't need to worry about Beatrice. Because scorpions have the power to ward off magic. That's going to be important later. Oh, really? Didn't know scorpions could do that. Oh, Battler doesn't believe. I'd said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out the various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such an incredible holy power that it had been used in magic repelling magical circles since ancient times. Ah, I've heard about that from some of the other young servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn as a magic repelling symbol in sorcery. Oh, really? Oh. The scorpion protects against bad magic and calamity. An emerald brings peace to the heart. Therefore, its effects are twofold. Oh, it's true. The scorpion wraps around the emerald and protects it. Yes, that certainly does sound like it would work well. I really wanted to make fun of these worthless-looking charms. Why? That's so mean. But as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize from some game center. Don't shatter children's whimsy. Like, rule number 1. Smile at children and don't shatter their whimsy. Shit sucks later. Let them enjoy it for now. The material quality, such a teenager thing to think. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's like a shithead, right? That's his, like, trope. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who would laugh at something like this. Typical Redditor. Actually, this is not real. Owned. But is he OP in the fighting game? I'm not allowed to play the fighting game because there's spoilers. So, he seems like he would play like a Ryu type. Oh, if I had to. He is the protagonist. He is like ordinary guy function. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice, but even if I do end up getting cursed, I'll be safe now, thanks to Maria's charm. Right, Jessica? Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Maria. Wear it on your arm when you want your heart to be at peace. Put it in your wallet and your money won't decrease. Bars? Banger? Maria Flo? If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't get in. It's a really convenient charm. Oh, okay. She couldn't keep it up. What an incredible... She had that ABAB thing going on, and then... Or AABB thing going on, and she just totally borked it. What an incredible effort. If Maria gives it her confident seal of approval, then surely it must be reliable. Shannon clapped her hands together, and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer. It'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold. Probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kamasuo-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that all about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time, George and Shannon would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after years of separation. Yeah, glad. Did I just feel a drop on my forehead? Oh, I wonder. George rubbed his forehead. He looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to have hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger. Oh. There is a storm warning. I didn't feel a drop, only I didn't. Don't worry, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get to feel plenty of raindrops. That's right. Maybe we should head back soon. Shannon looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Ooh. Ad break. I will be right back. I'm going to refill my water and use the bathroom.
I'm back. 4 seconds left on the ad. Perfect timing. Gotta keep my my voice hydrated. It's hard to read all these lines. Weow. Alright. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, me neither, actually. It's already time for you to return to your work. My voice would die just from responding to my few chatters. I am a peak chatter. I will say I wish I could hold voice for longer, but yeah, I am a peak chatter. Yes. Thank you very much for allowing me to enjoy some time together with you all. Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Okay, everyone, help out with the cleanup. Nerd. Shannon declined our help, saying this was a servant's job. Like picking up a drop fork before the waitress is like... But picking up a drop fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. Hold on. Was this brought up earlier in this game, or was I talking about this with someone else about something else? Did they mention this in this game, the dropped fork waitress thing? Or was I talking to somebody else about... This was in the game? Thank goodness, okay. I was gonna say, like that SoundCloud rapper from Smiling Friends, where he's like, "Get out of my head." It's oh yeah, okay. They're Umineko referencing in Umineko. Smart. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up. Ooh, the trash is getting away. I won't let it escape. I'll grab it before Maria does. I'll grab it. Oh, they're having fun. Maria, don't get your shoes wet or you'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash, then flying by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back. You've all helped out a lot. Thank you very much. It looks like you're really out of time. It's okay if you head back first. George perceived from the hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left. Hi, Reef. Hi. Genji's very strict about time. If you don't show up where you're supposed to be at the right time, I bet he'll be pissed. Hey, Aura. How you doing? We'll see you later. Do your best with your work. Hi. Then, if you'll excuse me. After making the respectful bow, Shannon ran towards the rose garden. Okay, let's head back to the guest house. We can watch TV or something and relax a little bit. Pog, TV. Wanna watch TV? I wanna watch TV. Then it's decided. Let's head back and watch TV. That's actually hype. I don't know. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up to the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. Dead Kinzo jump scare. The wind had grown very strong and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples to the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I bet tonight's typhoon ruins them. These roses might be done in by tonight's winds. You're right. Still, I think the roses were pretty lucky. After all, they got to welcome all of you before the typhoon. All flowers lose their petals eventually, but that means we can admire them even more when they're in bloom. Maria's sprite does not match her voice mannerisms at all. It does in the new art. She looks like way bigger. Like this is her in the new art, but she looks like way larger in the original art. Like I thought she was like 14 and was acting like a 6-year-old when I first saw her. That's right. Maria, burn this image into your eyes. At this moment, they're the best roses of the year. She's like just as tall as everybody when they all stand next to each other in the old sprites. Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she'd remembered something. Oh, they're gonna check on her rose. The typhoon will send it flying. Oh, you mean that sad-looking rose George marked with a ribbon? Maria apparently remembered where it was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her. Where was it again? I'm sure it was somewhere around here. We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses through the gardens undulate.
It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find. Maybe it wasn't here. Let's try spreading out a bit in our search. Yeah, sounds good. Strength in numbers, after all. Wait, what's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. How did the thing with the older brother embezzling resolve? So he countered their threat of exposing him by basically saying, hey, I know all of you need money now. Like, you need cash fast. They all have their own issues that they need cash now. So he's like, I'll sign this agreement, but only if I don't have to pay you the 10% up front or whatever. No, don't give me not the JG Wentworth. Ugh. But like, it's oh my god, he was like, why am I losing my brain right now? Oh my god, Lamau, yeah. Hold on, I'm losing my brain really. I'm trying to do something else really quick. Forgive me, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. No, stop. I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. It's such a banger for such a scuzzy company. Anyways, they need the money now, and he's like, I'll sign your agreement, but we must amend the term that you get the cash now. And was kind of being threatening about that, yeah. So that is how that resolved. I don't know if they actually did anything. You can tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot. My rose is here. It's here. But it's actually not, right? Maybe I was on the other side of the flower bed. If we all look, we'll find it fast, right? Ooh, it's here. My rose is here. Look for it. Oh my god. Chill, lady. She's confident that it's here. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at the spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality, it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket. What happened to it, do you think? It's not here. This is peak VN? Yeah, it is. Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Maria really is losing her temper. Sometimes Maria starts to really care about really pointless stuff. If she gets what she wants, that's okay, but... And then, yeah, you're right. It's going to be like the rose is actually an ingredient in Kinzo's alcohol, so... It's like being yeah. You can't find something that isn't there. That's not good. Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. The rose is actually a very important narrative element for the Umineko AP exam. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over. Well, I'm still not convinced that this isn't some Beauty and the Beast thing where the furniture literally became the servants, and maybe the roses are like the magic that's actually tying it all together. Are you looking for something? Look for it. Mama, you look for my rose too. Can someone control this child? We found an unhealthy rose here and marked it. We tied a candy wrapper around it. But Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right in front and really stood out, didn't it? Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else. Maybe you remembered it wrong. If I get a 4 or 5 on the Umineko AP exam, do I get credit for Higurashi 101? That's a good question, actually. I can see why you might ask that, but I do think they're separate study materials. It is here. It is here. Battler doesn't believe. How many times do I have to tell you to stop saying ooh before you'll understand? Whoa, hold on now. How many times do I have to tell you to stop saying ooh before you'll understand? Me. Average chatter talking to VTuber. She does say that at the beginning of every sentence. There's gotta be some significance to it. Mama will look for it, so stay quiet. Rosa's kind of like pissed about that. Only if you're getting your planning on a 4-year Reddit degree. Oh yeah. 4-year Reddit degree sounds like the biggest money sink I've ever heard of. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, and we all went with her for the time being. Your English was not there. You were understood. I understood what you said. So we all went along with her for the time being, but we were already more than sure it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too. The rose isn't here. There's no jobs in the Reddit field. Hello? Moderator? Karma collector? Armchair psychiatrist? Absolutely, absolutely. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else? There are so many roses around. Oh, stop oohing. That's wrong. It is here. Mama doesn't believe, but... I already believed you and looked hard for it, didn't I? But it isn't here. Didn't it? Ugh. But it is here. It is here, but it isn't. It is here, but it isn't. Then someone must have ripped it out. Anyway, stop saying ooh. Why does she goes right to it? Who ripped out my rose? Give it back. Oh my god. It's just baby talk? I guess. How should I know? Stop it. Stop saying ooh. Oh. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. Oh man. My rose! Didn't I... Rosa! Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all the kids in your class make fun of you? Oh, I'm gonna cry. Cut it out! Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Yeah, understandably so. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try to shut her daughter up. Whoa, yeah, Rosa, chill. Now, she's just a little kid. There's no reason to get so serious. That said, no, you know what? If I speak, I will surely be damned. I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. Gambage? But Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face and I realized I should have stayed out of this. I'm sorry, but could the rest of you go back to your room for a bit? I need to have a talk with Maria. Okay, I don't know if I would leave them be at this point. Nobody believes in my rose, even though it was here. Look for it. It was here. It was right here. Ugh. But it's not here now. So you must have confused this place for somewhere else, right? Oh my god, this is the infinite Tsukuyomi. It is here. I can only read this so many times before I cringe into a ball. Then it disappeared. Give it up. Why? Why did it disappear? Here's where, like, canon is like, I picked that rose that you marked because I thought it might get killed in the typhoon. So I left it in a vase in your room. I hope you like it. Why did it disappear? I don't know. Stop saying ooh. Oh my god. Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. For what it's worth, this is the best written child logic I've ever seen. Yeah, I guess they would be pretty headstrong in literally just staying totally adamant on their point. They would just be like, but it is. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Whoa. Hey, Rosa. Even if she is your daughter, violence isn't the answer. They would just all in on it, and like, yeah, obviously something happened to it. And like, I think Maria's like, or not Maria, Rosa's like pissed here because of the whole thing that just went down with Kraus. And so now she's like pissed, and she's like basically saying, sometimes something you thought was there isn't there. I thought my fortune was going to be waiting for me on this family trip, and it isn't. So now I'm going to take it out on my 9-year-old daughter. God damn. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground crying ooh. I knew that as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business, but I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this. Yeah, well said, Battler, actually. Actually well said. Don't you think it's weird, Battler-kun? Are there any girls at your school who mutter ooh? Well, it depends. Depends on what year you're talking about. Rosa clearly has never been to any fighting game major. Well, I am in high school, but for an elementary schooler, I think it's kind of cute that she says ooh. Cute. You think saying ooh is cute? This is so not serious. Kawaii? My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression. Don't say such nonsense. Do you know how old Maria is? She's 9. She's a 4th grader, not a kindergartner. But she still makes that sound during class. Don't you get it? Do you know what they say about this kid when they bully her? Thanks to their weird habit, she still hasn't made a single friend. Don't turn your eyes from reality and carelessly call Maria cute. Think more seriously about this kid's future, after all. Oh my god. I'm cringing, y'all. I can't take this. She's not wrong. No, she's not wrong. But she's I know, and she's a little harsh, right? Like, yeah, it's clearly annoying all of her peers. Yeah, it's clearly a detriment to her socially. But like, it's like way harsh for a 9-year-old. Like, you just gotta work on it. Like, honey, you don't have to start and end every sentence with a woo. Like, I'm sure she's tried, and I'm sure it's like trying because, again, it's probably just Rosa and Maria. I wouldn't even say this kid is acting like she's 9. No, she acts far younger. She really is acting like a 4-year-old. And there might be a reason for that. There might be more to this than, you know, just she's quirky. Oh my god, she's smacked again. Yeah. There's definitely more to it. Either trauma from, like, her dad missing, or trauma from Rosa beating the shit out of her, which is clearly a normal thing. Or, who knows, maybe some mystical, magical witch shit. Because she's pretty convinced witches are real. Didn't I tell you to stop that? Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George. A long time ago, Aunt Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria-chan's baby words. But now that it hasn't been fixed even midway through elementary school, she's worrying about it a lot. But, like, how she talks isn't really that big of a deal, right? She'll never make it as an adult if she's like that. Yeah, but, like, chill. Like, she's 9. I mean, definitely address it and, like, work on it, but don't, like, beat the shit out of her for it. So, even though it isn't fun to watch, this is a problem between parent and child. Hard disagree, George. Like, I get, actually... Yeah, this scene's really messed up, but, like, there's definitely a lot of this actually happens in this scene. And I think that's what makes it especially fucked up, is, like, there is a lot of times that family shit is going on and someone should absolutely intervene, but nobody does because of this logic. And this logic is incorrect. Like, it's just, you shouldn't just let this shit happen if it's wrong. Well, even I get chewed out by mom all the time because of how I talk. When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on. All right, ad break. Yeah, like this is rough. Now we can yap for a minute. It's not parenting at that point. That's the best. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best answer to it. This is between a parent and a child, but it is no longer parenting. And that requires intervention. Like, you're not justifying to a 9-year-old, oh, it's okay to ooh-woo because we're coming to your aid when your mom's, like, you know, abusing you for saying ooh-woo. We're not justifying you saying ooh-woo, but, like, this is wrong that this is happening. Yeah. I mean, if this is only going to get way more effed up, I'm sure. Like, there's not a world where, like, this is the most brutal scene in this 8-part peak fiction visual novel. So, yeah, this is going to get bad. We will persevere. I guess I should probably also know if I should be putting content warnings on some of this. Even just small ones. Maria's OG sprite is drawn that way specifically to create the disconnect between her age and her mannerisms. Yeah, I think that's possible. Rose is not wrong, but yeah, like, you gotta calm down, girl. I think Maria's old sprite, I think this is actually a great way to draw Maria here, because it does sound and look ridiculous when she acts the way she does at this size. But this is a lot more believable that she might be acting like that, because she looks like she's like 5 here. But this makes her look way older, even older than 9, I thought. So I think that actually drives the point home pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, like, I thought she was like 15, and I'm like, why is she talking like that? And then they were like, she's 9, and I was like, that still seems wrong. Yeah, Maria's OG sprite actually does some storytelling in its appearance. Battler, when you were a kid, didn't you have any bad habits that you couldn't fix and got you into trouble? How do I like Umineko so far? Hey Shiro, how's it going? I'm loving it. It's a great vessel to chat with great people in the chat. And it's a great story so far. It's definitely gonna take me like 8 billion years to get through it. But I think that's a good thing. I think I'm happy to take my time with this and yap in between lines and chat and take the ad breaks to, like, decompress and stuff. I think it's actually, like, a really good stream title for me. Yeah, we chatting. Well, 1 or 2. On Parents' Day once, I kept getting yelled at in front of everybody, and it was embarrassing as all hell. Well then, you can understand how the two of them must feel right now. Dude, I can't imagine watching this scene with someone who agrees with corporal punishment. Huh? Wait, that escalated quickly. Glad you enjoy it so far. It's a very good series. Seems like it. Yeah. Well, that's a cute Nodders emote. I'm sure they don't want us to be here now. You understand too, don't you, Jessica? I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being scolded. Imagine... This is bad, sorry, but you have said ooh, you have been sentenced to death. Half the VTubers on the planet get annihilated. Let's go. We'll return to the guest house. Then, after Maria comes back, let's welcome her as if nothing happened. Yeah, that's healthy, George. Fuck you, George. So problematic. Let's pretend nothing happened. No, tell her it's not okay what happened. I thought that was the word for teachers disciplining kids with violence. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. I misunderstood that phrase. I think death penalty when I think corporal punishment, but that could be me being wrong. No, yeah, you absolutely don't welcome her as if nothing happened. You tell her that's not okay. Corporal punishment is both. Oh, poggers, we're both right. That's probably for the best, isn't it? No, it's not. It normalizes it. We thought George's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable-sounding argument as justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, so we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it. This game is old, and Japan kind of still believes in this kind of thing. Of course, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a commentary on it, and not... It's probably not even condoning it in action. It's just a commentary on it. In that case, look by yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care. Oh my god. I'll look for it then. Oh, no. Oh, no. Maria's gonna die in the typhoon. Even if Mama doesn't care. Yeah, she's dead. She's gonna look all night for this rose and die in the typhoon. And it's gonna be like in her room because Cannon picked it because he knew she liked it. And like she's never gonna realize that it's in her room. Nobody's gonna go to her room. It's gonna be waiting for her in there, and she's gonna be dead tomorrow morning. Have it your way. Dude, if she dies, I don't know if I can take that. After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure. But that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because, if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall on her forehead. It'll be fine. Like I said, if it's anything like Rush, there'll certainly be time loops. I don't think so. Why? I don't think that's okay. Not until she found that poor wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew that place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. No, dude. No. Go get her. Like now. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window and, as if being summoned by the sound of the rain, the sound of the rain is a sound of silence. The sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die. You're late, Beatrice. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gain. Dude, he's tweaking. He's always tweaking. Kinzo is never sober. Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our banquet of miracles. Look at this. He's spitting right now. This island has now been cut off. Barrier technique? This island has now been cut off from the world. Now there is none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices. Kinzo is always spitting, indeed. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren. That's 11. Me and my guests, and my guests, and my servants. You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, Because of that, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. Okay, so his riddle might not even be a place or anything. It might just literally be like, okay, the demon Beatrice is coming and she's picking 6. So, yep. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I'll put it all on the line. First, I'll return the inheritance of the Ushuramiya family. Accept it. Huh? Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring. And, once you are resurrected, surely I will be the one to stand witness. I will survive until the end and watch over you as you awaken. So come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle. Just this once. Oh! Beatrice! Monka? Bro is a writ? So true. Carrying the capsule of the demonic absinthe. Drops it and friggin' 250 damage. Wanderlust. Alright, so just saying, if it's been like more than like 30-40 minutes and she's been looking for this flower, you better go get her. A news ticker popped up on top of the TV program. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly on the window were even more convincing. Wow. This rain is incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it also feels like it might stop at any moment. Hey, it's just a typhoon. We're from Florida. Yeah, I mean, we're fine. I'd go pick roses in this, but that's not, you know, these folks don't know. You wish. They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it might be like this all day tomorrow. And even a little bad weather stops boats from coming. Looks like we won't be able to head out on Sunday after all. Just in case, I cleared all outside business from my Monday schedule, and I'm glad I did. Okage business? Which means, looks like we get to skip school Monday. Living on an island starting to sound pretty good. Yeah, neighbors mowing lawn. I walked my dog during a hurricane one time. That was hype. Come to think of it, Jessica, you've got to take a boat to school every day, don't you? What do you do when the boats aren't running? You stay home with winds and show up late when the wind's blowing? Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing, like King Kamehameha? If the boats don't come, I just stay home. Still, that's not as good as it sounds. Usually I'm ordered to study by myself, and it's not that fun with someone standing right behind you watching everything you do. During the rainy season, does the weather ever stay bad for a long time? Make you miss a bunch of days in a row? Is this girl Krause's daughter? Yes, this Jessica is Krause's daughter. This does happen sometimes. Still, I'd get a call from my homeroom teacher every single day who'd sourly guide me on how I should teach myself and what I had to turn in. She can't skip school as easily as you're imagining, Battler. She's got to follow all the rules for people to travel to school by boat and get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier to just go to school. Okay, so they're way closer to Krause's daughter than Krause is to the siblings. Seems like it, yeah. She does also, like, I guess just because there's none of that animosity between them. In my own room, I get distracted and can't concentrate. After being made to do nothing but workbooks for several days straight, it's pretty hard to handle all that mental stress. When I get into college, I really just want to go to some dorm and quickly say goodbye to this inconvenient island. Oh, okay. By the way, what do you do when the weather's good in the morning, but then gets bad on your way home? Do you spend the night at school? That actually happens a lot. Because of that, they've built some lodgings there for people who can't get back to the island that they live on. Oh, it's just rich people's school. They all got islands they live on. That's where you'd spend the night. Sometimes, when it gets really bad, you can't get back home for a few days at a time. Someone commuting to school or work on a train packed to twice its capacity might carelessly think that. Commuting by boat would be pretty interesting and fun. That was a weird pause. Twice its capacity might carelessly think that commuting by boat would be pretty interesting and fun, but it sounds like it comes with troubles of its own. You hear thoughtless tourists saying stuff like that all the time. I've had enough of island life. Oh, when, boo. Poor Jessica. I really want to just graduate high school and say goodbye to this island. But there are all dorm schools even for high schoolers, right? Why'd you choose the Nishima school of all places? Being rich is so hard. I remember when you first tried to... I won't even say tried to sell me on this game, because you did sell me on this game. The first time you sold me on this game, or you're like... Yeah, I just played through Umineko. It's so good, blah, blah, blah. Fuck the rich. I hate the rich. It's just like, that was like the thesis statement of, I love Umineko, you should play it. Hey, as a fellow rich out-of-touch person, I can... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put a content warning for rich out-of-touch people in the chat. I'm sorry. But they're all dorm schoolers, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I've wanted to go to one of those from the beginning. But Mom's always gone on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as the successor. So I ended up sticking close to home, even for high school. Man, I hate this island. I just want to live in a city. Nobody ever puts a trigger warning before they say eat the rich. That's a tweet. That's a banger tweet right there. Open bracket, trigger warning... Close bracket, eat the rich, send tweet. I don't care if rain or even spears fall from the sky, as long as I can move to a city where I can wear casual clothes and sandals, and get into a convenience store in less than 5 minutes. Hold out just a little bit longer. Just a bit more and you'll graduate high school, right? I can't wait a little longer. Can someone go check on Maria, please? Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot, because there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin's room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. Can you please go check on Maria, please? It had been pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had the confusing conversation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather was really awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were, please? She's so dead. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. The preparations for dinner are complete. Please come to the mansion. It was Cannon's voice. Did he go through all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. George turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for a while. I've always been a huge fan of the main family's dinners. And did Goda-san say it was calf steak or something? Can't wait. Our dinners are always even more fabulous than usual when the family conference comes around. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go. As we left the room, Cannon bowed silently and respectfully. Okay, let's go. The rain is pretty nasty out there, huh? Yeah. Take care not to get your garments wet. After seeing the three of us out, Cannon peered into the empty room. Wasn't Maria with you? No, she's not. Wasn't she with Rosa? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Rosa was lying on the sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. She just went and took a nap? That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little before the weariness immediately dragged her into a world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she had been shocked with electricity. Ah. Thank you, Genji. When she realized that the thing had touched her was a blanket and Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. Did I wake you? My apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch, which he took out of his chest pocket. It's slightly after 6. Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it had felt like she had slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep. Thank you. I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such a strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain... As it finally started pouring down in earnest, Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain. The wind's blowing hard too. I wonder if the typhoon is finally here. That is what they said on the television. The typhoon is moving slowly, so I think it will be like this all day tomorrow. Really. So our last chance to see the wonderful rose garden must already have passed by. Please realize, from the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the window and the rain. Maria. That's right. What about Maria? I have not seen her. Did she not return to the guest house? Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, as if she knew, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever, even in pouring rain. Please. No, the cousins left before I did, so Maria was left alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she'd stay there even though it started raining spears. Without opening an umbrella. How could they have lost control of my emotions and done such a thing? Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she'd once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. Please be okay, please be okay, please be okay, please be okay. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds weren't typhoon class, though an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she'd still rebelliously searching for that rose, do you? I wonder. Surely she wouldn't do it in this rain. At least, I wish I could believe that, but Maria sometimes gets really stubborn and is intently straightforward. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Cannon came from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried. I did not see her in the mansion, so I was sure she was here. After all, Rosa was taking a nap. Oh, she's going to be missing. She's not going to be dead. She's going to be missing. You didn't see her on her way over here? My apologies. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could. I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden, taken the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Cannon to fail to notice her. Instead of arguing around here, it'd be faster to just check it out directly. Aniki, why don't we race over there? Yeah, she'll be missing and Beatrice might have taken her? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, do you think you can beat me now that you've been growing for 6 years? Okay, well, let's settle this. Go. Sorry, Beatrice. I don't know if I can keep that up for 8 episodes. George and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Cannon followed us. Oh, she's calling for her. Maria! If you're here, answer me. Maria! Rosa. Hey, Rosa. When George called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him. Where's Maria? Is she with you? No. We didn't meet with Maria-chan after that. Maria! 6 years ago, Maria was 3 years old. She was just a cute and pure kid who'd just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. But Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella while still... Monka S. Okay, ad break. Maria was crouching down holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. A white umbrella? I don't want to Google anything Umineko related, but didn't Beatrice have a white umbrella in her portrait? I definitely don't want to Google anything Umineko related. Definitely a minefield out there. But I think the portrait of Beatrice has a white umbrella behind her. That or it's like the top of her dress and it kind of looks like an umbrella. I feel like even if I Google Beatrice portrait, I'm going to get spoiled on something. So I'm not going to do it, but that's something that I might have to go back in the VOD and look for. At Ryan, it's done. Mango with the tweet. Banger tweet. Why am I not following Mango TA6351? Okay. Should have put classism in there too. Shake my head. Yeah, you don't have Twitter Blue, so you can't edit. Okay. Mango Tango was taken. Understandable. Ooh. Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was a truly pitiful sight. Maria, are you still looking? Can't find it. Can't find my rose. Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, she was holding an umbrella, so she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Battler, thank goodness you found her. Maria! I'm sorry. Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. Oh, it's not here. My rose isn't here. I'll look for it with you later, okay? So just put it on hold for today, okay? Put it on hold for today. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Cannon caught up with us. I will have a towel ready in the mansion immediately. Maria, were you here this whole time? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. Aunt Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? If we stay here, Maria will catch a cold. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't get you cleaned up, Grandfather will be mad. Ugh, hungry. It's time to eat. You did a good job holding out, Maria. When the weather gets better, we'll all go searching together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. That was unexpected that she's just there. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I'd thought. When she remembered we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting, I'm hungry, ooh, ooh, and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying ooh, ooh. I see. So she had an umbrella on her. Maria sure is good at packing the right stuff. No shot she had an umbrella on her. Oh, I didn't bring an umbrella. Ugh. What? Then, where did you get that white umbrella you were holding? Oh, I borrowed it. Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. Yeah, some caring person on the abandoned island, Battler? A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter and then decided to at least give her an umbrella. I see. I'll have to thank that person. Who was it? Oh, Beatrice. Music stinger. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Really? That's wonderful. So who was it? Who actually brought you that umbrella? Oh, Beatrice. Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying out unhappily again, so Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner, rather than ask Maria herself. Yeah, it was Beatrice, and I do think she had a white umbrella in her portrait. Hopefully we can see that. They won't show it immediately, though. Father, please, at least join us for now. This again? It won't be a family conference otherwise. Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would ever be heard. Shinzo, won't you at least come out for dinner? I'm sorry, I won't do that voice. All of your children have gathered here to see your face, haven't they? Silence, Nanjo. So the bishop won't work. One move too short. No tempo. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled, and he continued to glare at that game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears. Kinzo, I'm hungry. Why don't we go down and eat? Go by yourself if that's what you want. Wait, is tempo a chess term? Yes, tempo is used in chess. Similarly to how it's used in other turn-based games. Yeah, I don't know if it started there, but it's definitely used there. A lot of times they'll talk about, like, gaining a tempo in chess when you make a move, like when you're allowed to make, like, an in-between move by checking the king to, like, get a piece where you want it to anyways, you, like, gain a tempo by doing that. Or, like, force your opponent to take a back step, you gain a tempo. Go by yourself if that's what you want. Let me consider this next move for a little longer. We are going to finish it tonight. Yeah, when you create a turn. Yeah, like in card games, it's the exact same thing where you tempo. Like, tempo plays are made to, like, give yourself an extra turn. Putting out, like, a 4-4. Because now they'll have to spend a turn killing that. You kind of got tempo out of it. Otherwise, it's doubtful we'll finish before the world ends. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. We knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, and he'd never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth. There would not be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. Tempo is like a currency feels weird to me. It's an adjective in my head, not a noun. Yeah. Like, I get that. And it's also one of those terms, kind of like fuzzy, that means, like, nothing most of the time when people use it. Like, their heart is in the right place when they describe a situation using the term, especially in card games. When they describe a situation, but, like, half the time it doesn't mean anything. Like, I played a tempo 2-2 here, and it's like, no, that was your only castable this turn. That wasn't a slot. Just because you played something... Actually, here, you can quote me on this one. Just because you played something and didn't get full value out of it doesn't make it a tempo play. Yeah, exactly. That's a banger, actually. It seems that no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, he wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Krause was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Krause let out a sigh of relief. Dr. Nanjo, is Father... I'm sorry. I couldn't be of service. Right now, this room is Kinzo's whole world. Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Krause raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting, Father, can you hear me? We're heading down now, but please join us anytime you feel like it. All of your children are waiting for you. His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyways. However, unlike the time he'd been called down for lunch, he did not fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate. Neither dinner nor the faces of my children interest me in the slightest. I will only leave here if Beatrice is resurrected, or if I am chosen as a sacrifice for the key. The demon's roulette has already started spinning. What meaning does dinner have at this point? Hi, Soma. Hi. Although the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Krause, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo. Father said he's still not feeling well. He truly regrets missing this once-a-year opportunity to sit together with his gathered family. Ava and Rudolph snickered. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret, and none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence. Then, why don't we start dinner? Goda, begin. Certainly. Well then, if you will allow me. When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin. May I ask, who lent Maria that umbrella? When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed. An umbrella? What's this about? A short while back, Maria was in the rose garden when it started raining. She apparently borrowed a white umbrella from someone. I just wanted to thank them. It wasn't one of us. After you left, we moved to a different room and had a friendly chat the whole time. That's right. Even after that, the siblings had a real friendly chat. The word friendly felt awkward from Hideyoshi's lips. So even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation had not been a pleasant one. At the very least, it couldn't have been me, Ava, Rudolph, Hideyoshi-san, or Kairi. We were together the whole time, even after Natsuhi and Rosa left. The whole time until the meal started. Nissan went up to the study with Genji to call father. At that time, the rest of us went straight to the dining hall. So, it wasn't one of us. Could it have been a servant, kind enough to lend an umbrella? Oh, so was it you, Goda-san? No, I've been in the kitchen the whole time, preparing. My apologies. Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing this chance to show off. At that time, Shannon and Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres. Well, what about you two? Yeah? Has something gone wrong? Oh man, anxiety. Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking the others were searching for the one responsible for some error. Oh no, it's not like that. It started to rain when Maria was alone in the rose garden, and after that, someone lent her an umbrella. Aunt Rosa said she wanted to thank that person. Beatrice. Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled. Oh-ho! It wasn't us. Shannon and I were preparing the rooms together, so we did not go outside either. Yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be of assistance. Preparing the rooms? What do you mean by that? Because of the rain. We thought it would be troublesome for all of the guests to return to the guest house. So the servants were ordered to prepare the guest rooms inside the mansion. How thoughtful. Yes, it certainly would be rude to chase us outside in this rain. Could you give it a rest? Okay. After receiving the order from Madam, Kumasawa-san, Kanon, and I started preparing the rooms. Then it became time for dinner, so Genji ordered Kanon to go to the guest house and summon the children. Yeah? So did Kanon find Maria on the way to the guest house and hand her the umbrella? Wrong? The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she thought asking like this where everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately. Then, was it you, Natsuhi? I'm sorry. After everyone's friendly chat, my headache was so bad that I've been resting in my room. Therefore, I did not go outside either. Then who was it? George and the kids? That can't be right. Nope. Wasn't us. We were watching television in the guest house the whole time. Actually, we thought Maria had just gone back to the mansion with you all. Then Kanon came and he asked whether Maria was with us. But when we first realized she wasn't in the mansion, I mean, if it were me, I'd have grabbed her hand and pulled her under a roof before giving her an umbrella. Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied what they had done. That they had done it, excuse me. Even though it really wasn't something anyone would want to hide. So by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't large. Of course it wasn't me. Right after it began raining, I visited Kinzo-san's room, and I was playing chess with him until just now. Which means that it also wasn't grandfather. Which means... Wait a second. You keep starting with the voice. I know, I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I just go to that voice when I see his, like, wideness. Isn't this starting to get a bit weird? Who's left? Then, who was it? Genji? Wait a second, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm searching for some culprit or anything. All I want to do, as a mother, is thank the person who gave Maria the umbrella in the middle of the rain. Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. Everyone's scared of the witch. Calm down, Rosa. Why don't we just ask the person who lent the umbrella? Who was lent the umbrella? That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads. Why shouldn't they just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella? However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked.
Doria!
Doria! The electric Yoshi. Of course. Rudolph here's got it right. Doria! Maria. Come on, tell your uncle. Who lent you that umbrella? It was Beatrice. The dining hall wrapped in silence for an instant, but it was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Oh, someone's gonna die here. I see. Naruhodo. So Beatrice, the witch of the forest, felt pity and lent her an umbrella. What a lovely story. Rosa, there you have it. Oh. Interesting. So, small little thing here. Everybody ridicules the witch, right? Kraus, while probably acting like he's placating Maria, might actually know something and might say, like, do not deny the existence of the witch, because she will hold you in contempt for that. So, he might be saying this as in, like, there you have it. It just is what it is. The island's got some magic on it. Nobody's asking why'd she say it was Beatrice? Yeah, like... Yeah, they could probably even just press her a little harder and be like, oh, well, what did she look like? And, you know, what was she doing? Where did she go? Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella, why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke? They're just like, she's a kid, so she must be making it up. But, like, yeah, where did the umbrella come from then? Ooh, just like Uncle Kraus said, Beatrice, let me borrow it. Isn't that wonderful? We should all be jealous of such purity. What do you think, everyone? Yeah, like, why wouldn't she say it's like, you know, magic or like... There's something weird here, clearly. Whoops. Okay, M mutes. Stuff like this bothers me in VNs. Yeah, where people just, like, don't press the issue because there needs to be plot. Kraus was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking. But Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. How did that work? Does that mean a witch really appeared and lent her an umbrella? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me. Hey. Has Maria ever been the type to make jokes? Well, to be fair, Rosa just had a huge fight with Maria. I took it as her not wanting to cause another tantrum. Well, sure, but, like, if I was Rudolph, for example, and Rudolph's a shit stirrer, wouldn't he be like, you know, even just to poke fun at it? If we'd heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth, we would have just taken it as another joke. You don't need to deny that Beatrice is real to try to get more info out of Maria here. No, yeah, actually, in fact, it's the contrary. You would have to buy into Beatrice is real with her to get more info. Because this is either somebody cosplaying Beatrice, like, this is someone like, yeah, like, this is someone who looks like Beatrice, which is nobody. Well, it's Rosa looks like Beatrice a little bit, right? But she wouldn't say it was Beatrice if it was Rosa. And then, yeah, like, why wouldn't she say who it actually was? And if it was a stranger, why would she call the stranger Beatrice? So it's a stranger who looks like Beatrice, meaning it's either Beatrice or somebody who's dressed up to look like her. And then, you know, it's none of these people. So I don't know. It's very like, you know, it pushes the plot forward. But to your point, it's like, there's got to be a little bit more conversation here than just like, well, that's that. We'll see if it is, though. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. This was getting pretty unnerving. No way. She's always been frank and serious. She's the sort who'd believe any joke, even ones normal people could instantly tell were lies. I've never even heard of her cracking a joke. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. So it appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. So if Maria says she borrowed an umbrella from Beatrice, that means it really was Beatrice? We're talking about Maria here, so I can't think of it as some kind of metaphor or joke. It might be best to take what she says at face value. Then what would be going on? Are you saying Genji or someone put on that fancy dress from the portrait and gave Maria the umbrella? Okay, cool, so they're getting there, they're getting there. I'm not sure about that. Actually, that's what I want to know. Jessica shrugged jokingly, and her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant, and the meal ended up being so quiet that you couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. Kubasawa and Shannon, pushing their serving cart, ran into Genji and Cannon on their way to the kitchen. Oh, it's Genji-san. Did you lend Maria an umbrella? Umbrella? What are you talking about? Well, I heard that when it started raining, Maria was alone in the rose garden. Another ad break? Oh, sorry, y'all. These are hitting pretty hard. I'll be right back. We'll run this ad break. Ads are done. My hand when story Maria was alone in the rose garden. It seems she borrowed an umbrella from someone there. But we don't know who it was. Wasn't me. After all, I actually thought Maria was in the guest house. When Battler first found her, she was already holding a white umbrella. My apologies, but it was not me either. Then could it actually be the master? Both in the dining hall and right here, everyone had stated that they hadn't done it. That only left Kinzo, but maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason when he just happened to see Maria in the rose garden without even an umbrella. The master is not particularly fond of Maria. I agree. I can't imagine that for Maria's sake, he'd go out through all that trouble descending the stairs with an umbrella. Yeah, he definitely hates Maria. Oh my. How troublesome. Does that mean that the one who lent Maria the umbrella really was Beatrice? Kumasawa laughed, just like the relatives in the dining hall who had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang through the hallway. They all turned around once and saw Goda coming out of the dining hall. Okay, everyone. When serving dinner, proper timing while setting the table is essential. Please immediately see to setting out the soup. Genji, the women are in the middle of an important job, so please don't get in their way. Huh? Cannon glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Cannon respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Cannon once on the shoulder as a warning. Kanon reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal. Obey Goda's instructions. Hurry and prepare the dinner table. Come now. There's no time. Don't dawdle. Hurry. Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it toward the kitchen. Please, allow us to return to the kitchen. After all, Goda's temper is very short. Oh, ho, ho. Yeah. Please excuse me as well. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt. Genji, did Beatrice really return? I don't know. Shall I inform the master? That is not necessary. If she has truly returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she is a fickle person. It would be pointless to report to the master only to find that she does not appear. I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun. Okay, so they know about all this. Probably. However, that has nothing to do with furniture like us. We must continue to return the favor we received from the master until our final moments. Okay. The favor from the master. They were actually... I'm telling you, they are literally furniture. This is Beauty and the Beast. This is Cogsworth and Chip here. Hey. That is furniture's duty. The whole furniture thing, I think, is literal. And what the master granted them was an actual life. The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instances when the lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out the window but the darkness of the night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human will rule when the sun is down. The darkness of night that now surrounded Rokkenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ushiramiya family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake accompanied by a pear sherbet. Ooh, that sounds good. Goda enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as the final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The menu starring Anya Taylor-Joy. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent, the weather was horrible, and the identity of one who had lent Maria the umbrella still remained a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I'd realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. That's why Hot Pot is so good. Goda, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the piece, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. Yada yada. What a waste that the dinner Goda worked so hard to create has been met with such a gloomy atmosphere. Absolutely. It just feels like nothing would taste good today. Oh. I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up. Ava grimaced slightly. I'd already heard that she wasn't on good terms with Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around and noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing, apparently there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Both Aunt Ava and my dad aren't looking too happy. Really? I don't think so. I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested. Sorry, I botched that. Well, our adult conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Battler. Isn't that right, Natsuhi? Kairi? Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness. So I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversations had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsu and Kairi were the people he had directed his comment to ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while his kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when we arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion for us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comments were ignored by the other adults, and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kairi spoke up. We were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out, such as what lies in your future, Battler. Will you just drift on to college? Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for the long race of life? Whoa, wait a sec. Kairi, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, it won't digest well, and we'll all end up getting constipated. That's right. We were talking about Battler and Jessica's careers. You've got to think seriously about the future. Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if they'd really been talking about that, but it was probably wrong. Kairi had been obviously trying to change the subject. However, if Kairi had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking that into account, I cast aside my suspicion as the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. Oh, there's not more to that. At long last, the serving cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Kumasawa and Shannon served it to everyone. Goda then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner of my life. It was a shame that one of the best dinners could have been had under the best... It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been had under the best conditions. George, is dinner over now? Over? Yeah. With this, dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seat and calmly drink up. Oh. Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. Turtleneck Rysair? Oh yeah, this is one of my outfits. Yeah. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter. Therefore, when she heard from George that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. Look sick? Ah, thank you. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under her seat, never having even left it while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. Look at this evil look. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you... That? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Battler noticed it too. Whoa. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful, Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in golden leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have bought or brought as a prank. Maria, what's that? It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voices sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too. What's up, Natsuhi? What is that? Maria, where did you pick that up? That envelope has Kinzo's... When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids can understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria had was one of the Ushiromiya family head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contains a message from Kinzo. Ooh. What's an envelope like that doing here? Now, that's an interesting thing that come jumping out at us. So it feels like Maria got given this by whoever gave her the umbrella, supposedly Beatrice, maybe Kinzo now, and said, wait till after dinner to take this out. Just let me have a peek. No way. I'll read it. I was told to read it to everyone. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hand, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go. Hideyoshi, you can't use force against a child. Maria, where did you get this envelope? Oh, I got it from Beatrice when she gave me the envelope, or when she gave me the umbrella. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's messenger. Okay. Messenger? Almighty Witch of the Island sure likes to mess around. Battler tried to joke about it, but no one laughed. I wonder what's written inside of it, Maria-chan. Oh, gonna read it now. Ooh. Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the wax to open it. The sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table, where Natsuki, Kairi, and Nanjo stared at it. And printed with the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiromiya family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest. This is the family head's personal crest. I know from the letters I have received from Kinzo-san before. Without a doubt, this is his wax seal. But aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, there was some kind of stamp for wax seals. Couldn't someone other than Kinzo have used it? No. Kinzo would always use the ring on his finger, his proof of the Ushiromiya family headship, when he sealed the wax. That shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo's seal. That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from father at least once. We can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a model to create a fake seal and pass themselves off as father. I agree with Aniki here. No matter how much the seal resembles Dad's, we can't prove that it's the real thing. Though that doesn't prove that this envelope came from him. I agree. We cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from him based solely on a wax seal. Dr. Nanjo, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words? Oh, I apologize. It was not my place to speak. One after another, all the siblings from Kraus downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, that this was a will from him, and that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope is the same person who lent you the umbrella then, right? Yeah. I don't know what "oo" means. Oh my god, she's so rude. Is it true? Yes. Yes. So in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria-chan the envelope along with the umbrella. Yeah. Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. Is it even worth reading? Oh. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Battler said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuki heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes. Hello, Derek Hose Corner 2013. Hi. And then Beatrice told you to read it after the meal was over, right, Maria? Yeah. It's okay, everyone. The envelope didn't come from grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide? Yeah, that's right. Even if father didn't necessarily write it, I'd still like to know what's written inside. Maria, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force. I apologize. So will you read it aloud for everyone? Maria, read it. Ooh. All the relatives stared fiercely at Maria as she spread the letter open with a rustle. You think it really did come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever father has announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it directly, correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach. Yeah, that's right. Maria, a messenger? That definitely doesn't suit father's taste. Rosa, could this be Maria trying to surprise us by putting on some kind of show? Maria isn't really... Oh my god. Rude. Maria really isn't a kid who'd be capable of something so thoughtful. Alright, gonna read it. The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason, her voice seemed different than usual. Everyone was suddenly silent.
六軒島へようこそ、後ろ宮家の皆様方。
Oh. Welcome to Rokkenjima, members of the Yushiromiya family.
私は金蔵様にお
I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family, employed by Kinzo himself.
ベアトリーチェ。
That's crazy.
黙って。
Quiet.
長年にわたりご契約。
I have served him for many years in accordance with our contract. But on this day, Kinzo has announced the final suspension of that contract.
よって本日
Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth. What the hell? How foolish, what nonsense. I can't stand to listen to this.
さてここで
And now, there is one part of the contract that must be explained to all present.
私ベ
I,
は
Beatrice, lent Kinzo a vast quantity of gold under certain terms.
その条件
One of these terms specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of this contract.
そして利息として
Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Yushiromiya family as interest. Ridiculous. It's been ridiculous since the very beginning.
要するに
So, it's basically one of those things, right?
よくある
Doesn't it sound like one of those contracts with the devil?
ほんで
The contract has expired, so they've come to collect the interest.
いいんや
Is she trying to grab some retirement money in her old age or something? What a cheeky witch.
バトラ君
Battler,
今は茶化さない
now's not the time to joke around. Battler made a face as if to ask, I can't make fun of... If I can't make fun of this, well, what can I make fun of? Some of these adults' faces were pale, while others looked dazed.
これだけをお聞き
After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo has been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo did append a special clause to the contract so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor.
その条項が満
If,
たされ
and only if, that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interest for all eternity. Special clause? Well,
それは何
what is it?
特別条項
Special clause.
契約終了
Beatrice remains the right to collect the gold and accumulate interest upon the termination of the contract.
ただし
However, if someone is able to
黄金を暴いた者が
discover the hidden gold of this
ベ
contract,
アトリーチェは
Beatrice must abandon those rights for all time.
利子の回収
The
は
collection of the interest will proceed shortly, but if anyone fulfills the terms of this special clause,
すでに
I
回収
shall return everything,
含めて
including the portion that has already been collected.
なお
Furthermore,
回収の手始め
as a first step in this collection of Kinzo-sama's debt, I have taken possession of the Yushiromiya family's
後ろ宮
head
家
ring,
同士の指輪をお預
which signifies the passage of the Yushiromiya family headship from one individual to another. Ooh! When Kinzo threw the ring out the window, she took it.
封印のロー
I ask that you confirm this for yourselves by examining the imprint on the wax seal. Oh. Are they trying to claim that that's the meaning behind this seal? That father would relinquish his ring is unthinkable. Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Eva and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder. Come to think of it, when we were playing chess, I did have a strange feeling that something was missing from Kinzo-san's finger. Did the contract actually get signed before? Between Kraus and the siblings? No. Kraus would not sign until... Oh! Kraus would not sign until they amended that clause on the forepayment. Yeah, it did. I remember it did specifically say the family head and not Kraus. So Beatrice would be she'd be entitled to half the gold. Yeah. Nanjo, don't say something so careless just because of a vague memory. We can't prove its authenticity here. Only by asking Father directly can we determine whether he really handed over his ring and whether the letter tells the truth. That's right. It's just as Kairi-san says. Oh, ad break. Yeah, so that contract does say the head of the Yushiromiya family will be entitled to half the gold. So Beatrice would get 10 billy. The other two would get 2.5 billy each. The ultra wide sprites are so awesome. Yeah, that's just when I lose full screen as I go to ultra wide. Yeah, I might consider not doing ad breaks during VN stuff and just do pre-rolls. That way people just see, you know, one longer ad break when they first join, but then they're in. Might be something I do for VNs. Okay, we're back from the ad break. But for stuff like fighting games, I think this model works better. I don't know. Do you think Kinzo-san will tell you? After all, that person's thoughts sometimes surpass the bounds of common sense. No matter what happens, it's still nonsense. In the first place, the illusion of gold itself is one of Father's tricks. Now I go back to ultra-wide? Nah, I must leave it like this. I've already heard enough talk of that gold from the rest of you. But this is the witch speaking, right? About how the inheritance and all of the assets will be handed over to the one who finds the gold, right? So, maybe Beatrice-sama is Father's legal advisor, or in charge of his funds. We can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such a... That's a hard sentence. We can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such a suspicious paper to a child. Aniki, we need you to be frank with us here. Is it possible Dad's assets are being managed by someone that you don't know? No, that's impossible. As the family head's representative, I control all Father's assets. It should be impossible for anyone to do as they please with them without me knowing it. So, this must mean there's some assets you don't control, right, Kraus? How foolish. No. Such assets could not possibly exist. But there is such a thing. And assets of Father's that you don't control. There's no way such a thing could exist. It does. It's his ring. It's Beatrice's hidden gold. Let's keep it simple. In short, Dad had some trusted confidant that Aniki doesn't even know about. Furthermore, this person has always been in charge of watching and managing the gold. Or, it could be some eccentric rich person who offered him a loan with rules like a devil's contract. Could it be that this confidant called Beatrice is trying to test which of Kinzo's children is most worthy to be financed by her gold? Harry's question was one that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. And while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated that. It was just something that everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the thing they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything of the Ushiromiya family would be given to the one who found the gold. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-san to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Signed, Beatrice the Golden. Father, I know you can hear me. Please respond. The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Kraus, Rudolph, and sometimes Ava. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind the mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and the fabulous dinner that had adorned the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face. Everyone is calling for you. But what should I do? Leave them. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There's no need. It does not even reach my ears. Hinzo enjoyed the food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Kanon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth. Maria apparently received a letter from Beatrice, so I imagine they want to test its authenticity. Haha. Has she started already then? Come, Beatrice. I have no shortage of coins to be wagered. Shall we enjoy this night to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your smile will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, my honor, or even my life. Well then, the roulette has begun to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Noir, Rogue, or House Takes All? Come. Oh, Noir, Rouge. So black, red, or will House take all? Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more. End chapter. That might be where we stop for tonight. It's getting kind of late. Yeah, I think that might be where we stop for tonight. Getting good, though. Yeah, I think I will stop there. That's a pretty good place to stop. By the way, if you reread the epitaph for that letter, I think they're in the tips menu. Ah, okay, cool. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore, and the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. So much. Okay. Noted, noted. All right. That is where we're going to stop for tonight, though. Depending on weather and other conditions, I may be streaming tomorrow or Friday. I'm supposed to... I don't really have plans for tomorrow, but sometimes I play in a webcam league for Grand Archive, so I won't stream if I do that. Friday, I normally go to locals, but if it's raining too hard, I won't go to that, and I'll stream instead. I just got back. Oh, no. Yeah, so that will be it for today. Probably Saturday. We'll pick up again. But as always, these go on YouTube. So you can find them on YouTube if you like. And I think I will probably raid into Impurist Club. They got a Grand Blue tournament going on. And yeah, they're not done with that, so I will send it over there. Thanks for the stream. Love the Umineko playthrough so far. Yeah, it's been super fun. I'm definitely going to finish it. It just might take me a while, and it might be all my streams, but honestly, I'm okay with that. Thoughts on it so far? I think it's really, really good so far. The characters are really identifiable. You understand where they're coming from. Yeah, I'm really liking it so far. I am going to be theorizing a lot. I definitely need to figure out what the hell is going on. So I'm going to raid into Impurist Club, say hi for me, and then I'm going to go to bed. I hopefully will stay dry tomorrow, and you all do the same. Have a great night and a happy tomorrow. Bye-bye.